Another heated election issue this year involves the vote to retain 3 Iowa Supreme Court judges. The attention comes from a 2009 Iowa Supreme Court ruling that a state law prohibiting same-sex couples from marrying violated the state's constitution. 2 issues rising out of this retention vote are, first, whether the judges should be retained, and second, whether pastors who represent nonprofits in the form of their churches can preach politics from the pulpit. CRI reporter Patrick Boberg takes a look at both of these issues.
My objectives are simply to inform people of the issues and give a biblical worldview concerning every issue.
Pastor Bill Tweed of Jubilee Family Church preaches every week on issues and how Christians should see them. However, he says he doesn't use the pulpit to make endorsements.
I never have mentioned a name as far as a pastor. In my private life as a citizen, well, I'll tell you who I'm voting for. I'll tell you everything that I'm standing for and believe.
While Pastor Tweed may be withholding political endorsements from his Sunday sermons, there are legal issues that keep members of the clergy from being completely forthright.
When a pastor stands at his or her pulpit and tells their congregation how they should vote, that violates the tax status as agreed to when they sign the documents to become a tax-exempt organization.
Well aware of the consequences, Pastor Tweed reluctantly follows the law.
We have followed those guidelines. We do not believe they're constitutional. We're very much opposed to them, but we've not violated them.
Still, one issue that has made Pastor Tweed particularly vocal this year is the Supreme Court ruling which found an Iowa law prohibiting same-sex marriage unconstitutional. That decision was in stark contrast to both his political and religious beliefs.
The judges have a very misguided notion of their role. They've overstepped the original intent of our Constitution. When the people of Iowa overwhelmingly want to amend their Constitution to define marriage as being between one man and one woman, and 7 men in robes say, we're not going to allow you to do that, we've stepped over a line.
Across the state, religious leaders are starting to profess similar views to Pastor Tweed, and their opposition, such as Interfaith Alliance of Iowa, are worried these views may mislead voters on the nonpartisan stance the courts are supposed to hold.
This is a matter of civil law and our state constitution, and in that constitution, it talks about that all people should be treated equally under the law, and so it's important that people recognize that the Supreme Court made a decision based on constitutional law, and that is their job.
With only a handful of days remaining before Iowan voters decide the fate of these 3 judges, both sides believe if their stance prevails, we will all have learned something from it. If the judges are retained,
I think what it will say is that the voters of Iowa understand that they do want courts that are fair and impartial, and that they do understand the role of the courts within our democracy.
or if the judges are removed from the bench.
I believe this, it sends a message that the people do have a recourse for things.
For CRI Weekly News, I'm Patrick Boberg.
Commonly referred to as the no electioneering tax law, U.S. Code Title 26 does not allow nonprofits to support or oppose any election issue or candidate. Breaking this law can cause an organization to lose its tax-exempt status, pay back taxes, and face heavy fines.